A nonprofit Christian organization was behind the $20 million Super Bowl ad buy promoting Christianity-themed messages from a company called He Gets Us. Here's a little snippet of that ad.
Take a look in the mirror, and what do you see? Do you see it clearer, or are you deceived in what you believe? 'Cause I'm only human after all.
He Gets Us is a subsidiary of the Servant Foundation, which has directly funded organizations that promote anti-LGBTQ+ messages, wage campaigns against anti-discrimination laws, and which promote anti-abortion policies. New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was among the many critics of the He Gets Us ads that appeared during the Super Bowl, tweeting, "Something tells me Jesus would not spend millions of dollars on Super Bowl ads to make fascism look benign."
That was a take.
So Jesus, good, no problems there. But I think a lot of people were asking the question, why spend, what was it, $20 million on Super Bowl ads? It feels like it's not really connected to promoting certainly Jesus's teachings. Is that $20 million well spent? That could be spent on, let's say, the proselytizing versus homelessness, child poverty, et cetera, and what are the real underlying goals here? And it does feel, when you look at what the organization actually does, that it's got political aims that are aimed at changing public policy, not what people do in their personal lives and what they believe, but trying to affect the outcome of legislation that is going to affect people no matter what their beliefs are, in a way that feels a little gross to some people, whether or not you think it's fascist.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty extreme to go in that direction. I thought the ad was fine. That kind of messaging is not really something that resonates with me. I'm not a particularly religiously inclined person, but I like the idea that, we all need to take kind of a chill pill. We're very at each other's throats, very angry. That goes for people of all political stripes at this point, not singling any ideology or group out over the others. That seemed to me what the message of the ad was. And if religion or the teachings of Jesus can be used to cool people's tensions and reflexive dislike of one another or desire to go beat each other in the street, that's fine with me, and I don't care if an organization spends its money that way. They can spend it however they want. But religious organizations do spend tons of money on charity.
But that's the point. Is that what this money is being spent to do? $20 million for a Super Bowl ad isn't actually solving discord. And frankly, what was kind of funny was that ad, at least for me, came after that Tubi ad where it made it look like someone was sitting on the remote and changing the channels. The ad made it look like the pop-up was changing. And
a lot of people thrown by that one.
People got in fights. And it was like that ad was so divisive because people were shouting at each other like, "You idiot, get off the remote." And then it cut to this ad and people's tensions are already high.
Well, that was a great time for that ad to cool people. What would Jesus do in this situation?
But the ad was not peaceful. The ad showed picture after pictures of conflict between people. Right. It was.
I thought the message of the ad was saying we should not treat each other like that.
Right, but it wasn't showing us like coming across, racial or political lines to like love on each other and support each other. And it didn't start with antagonistic pictures and then end with peaceful solidarity pictures. It was just like straight up antagonism and stress the entire ad, and then at the end saying Jesus wouldn't have wanted us to fight. Well, sure, but there are things that Jesus definitely advocated for, ways that he wanted the world to change for the better, and simply papering over every difference as benign. It does seem to like be a real bastardization of the good, important message of Jesus.
I don't agree with that. The message was literally, remember in these conflicts that Jesus called on people to love thy enemy, to humanize the people you're in conflict with. Not that our disagreements can be easily papered over.
I don't disagree with the Jesus part of it. I disagree with what the images actually serve to do. And I didn't see any evidence that there was any interest in humanizing anybody. It was images that just were like depicting conflict. So maybe people, let us know if you responded to those images differently. But that was just one of what many people felt to be a number of kind of conservative leading ads that aired during the Super Bowl. The show started off with a pre-performance by Jason Derulo, during which he was accompanied by the Boston Dynamics dogs, those mechanized robots that are going to have guns mounted to their backs and used in kind of military situations. Many people on the internet noted that this was an interesting use of military technology and wondered whether or not this was intended to desensitize us and normalize this kind of technology in civilian life.
Robotic dogs dancing.
Yeah, but they're not robotic dogs. They are military equipment that have 4 appendages, and so we call them dogs. And is that all part of the process of making us more inured to the idea of remote technology with mounted guns that are going to be surveilling our streets potentially in the near future?
Sure. I mean, remote technology, the positive of it is fewer lives lost among our forces. Then the negative is potentially it makes us desensitized to violence, and it's easier to just press a button and have it happen.
Right. So people who are concerned about the surveillance state and the militarization of our police and all of the negative impacts of that were concerned about that ad. And additionally, another ad that got a lot of pushback was a military recruitment ad using Pat Tillman, who famously left his NFL career to join the military because he felt like it was such a valiant fight, ended up being killed by friendly fire. That information only came out after a prolonged period of what felt like suppression of that information. His personal effects were burned. So people argue that because
I thought it took leaks to get that information out.
Yes. That he had been critical. He was increasingly critical of our military exploits. And at that point, he was killed by friendly fire, which has raised a lot of concerns and conspiracy theories and whatnot. His family has been very outspoken against him being used in this way. And so for there to be this military ad really sat with a lot of people
that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad.
Yeah. So in the last thing I remember people reacting to kind of negatively, although it was maybe mixed, and I'm curious to know how your crew reacted, was the way the Damar Hamlin recovery was framed in the context of the Super Bowl kind of early in the show as a heroic return. He's doing well again. Isn't the NFL great? We all support each other in a way that some people said kind of sidestepped the underlying issue, which is this game safe and are players really being protected? Yeah,
it was. That is the concern. Obviously, the right wanted to take it. Some on the right wanted to take it in a vaccine injury. When you looked at what actually happened, you're like, oh, that looked bad.
Yeah.
Where he got hit. I thought that again when which quarterback was it? I think it was Patrick Mahomes who took who right before the end of the first half, he got tackled and like his foot got grabbed and he twisted his ankle and he limped off, and you were like, oh, that's something as simple as that. And the person tackling him didn't really do anything wrong. No. It was just in slow motion, the way he landed, his arm wrapped around the ankle, and well, that could be it.
Yeah, they didn't do anything wrong. The only person who did something wrong was the ref who made that final call. But we'll talk about more offline.
I thought the call again, the passing, the incomplete pass, it was in the first half against the Eagles, was sketchy, but we'll have to get our own cameras out.
We'll debate that offline. Go Birds. We'll have more for you after this.